Hello and welcome to another episode of Klaus's Random Thoughts, a series of videos where I talk about new games I have played recently and give me my thoughts on them. Today's game we're going to be talking about is Paper Mario, the Origami King. For reference, this is my very first Paper Mario game. I've never played one before. I've only watched a little bit of A Thousand Year Door, and I don't think I've ever seen any on the original game that came out on the N64. But I just thought I'd let you know, since there's fresh eyes on this whole franchise. Anyway, let's get right into it. The story of this game. The story was just meh. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't great on the other side of it, you know? It was very much just there. We had reasons for everything, but it wasn't in depth. Then again, this is a child's game made by Nintendo. It's meant for kids. Probably not really supposed to get deep with it, you know? So, that's just my opinion on it. However, the game is very beautiful. It's a very gorgeous game. Setting, the character designs, I very much enjoyed a lot of it, to be honest. And Nintendo knows how to utilize their own hardware. It's kind of crazy how games can look on the Switch, and Paper Mario is no exception. However, there is some designs I did not like in it. Like half the boss designs I was not really a fan of. If you've seen the game or watched me play it, you'll know what I'm talking about. I don't really want to spoil anything. I understand why the bosses look the way they did, but I don't like them still. The other ones I played, I loved them. I love those boss fights. It goes with the theme more so, of the theme of the game. But the others I didn't like that much, and I just did not enjoy them at all. But I guess since we're on the topic of bosses, we'll get into the gameplay of it and explain all of that. The gameplay gets more complicated as the game goes further, but in the beginning it's very simple, and I honestly thought it was going to probably stay around that, but it did not, to my pleasantly surprised. Pleasantly surprised? I don't know English. Anyway, so the way the fighting, the combat, and the gameplay, whatever you want to call it, I couldn't figure it out, how that goes is that you're in an arena, is turn-based, and what you want to do to get the most maximum damage on an enemy is to line them up either in a line or in a square. The most you can do is 4 enemies, and you can do other ways. You have to figure that out. You do it by rotating and moving up and down on the arena to arrange all the enemies in those 2 type of ways to get the most damage. You usually get about 1.5 multiplier to do so. And that's the regular fights with them, and they come in waves as well. I should have mentioned that. You complete a wave, another wave will come. There is limitations, like you only have so many moves to move stuff. You have a time limit, but the time limit can bypass by investing money into it, which, by the way, the inflation in this game is freaking ridiculous. You get a lot of money. You get a lot of money for time, other stuff, weapons as well. There's rarities of weapons that, proves how strong they are, but just stuff like that. Typical RPG style. This normal weapon is stronger than the best weapon. Kind of like that. You know how that is. I don't need to really explain that. But that's how the normal fights are. The boss fights are probably the most unique, and also I think where that shines the most for this game is the boss fights. Each boss fight has their own unique gimmick that you have to figure out to defeat the bosses, use or get around to defeat the said bosses. And also it's very much different than the regular fights that you have in the game, which I enjoyed. And it was actually difficult for me. The regular fights were a bit difficult as we progressed through the game, but the boss fights always got more difficult for me. And I liked it. It was very rewarding to finally, finish it. Finish those boss fights. I liked it a lot. But I think, honestly, that's all I gotta really say about this game. We played it for about 40 hours, and that's all I gotta really say. Don't have a lot. I really don't have a lot. Overall, it's just fine. It's just a fine game. But it is a Nintendo game. For some reason, I've always had the hardest time getting into Nintendo games. No matter what it is. Breath of the Wild, I've tried 3 times. Animal Crossing, first time I played it, I liked it for about a week and then I dropped it. Nintendo games don't last long for me, and the fact that I was able to complete this game in general is actually kind of amazing for my part, because I wasn't hooked in, you know. I just wanted to see how it ended, and that's it, you know. And I liked the gameplay, but it's just overall, it just wasn't something I was totally hooked into. And I don't know how the other games are in compared to this. There's multiple games. I know my wife Salty played the one before it, Color Splash, which came on the Wii U. I don't know how she feels about it, but yeah, I don't know. That's all I really got to say about Paper Mario: The Origami King. It's just fine. It's just a fine game. Hi, I'm just snipping this in somewhere because I remembered what kept me going on wanting to play this game and finish it. This is the most morbid child's game I've ever played. Like, honestly, moments after moments. There is, like, I'm explaining it how I would explain this game without actually ruining anything. There is demons, technically, necromancy, gore, organs. It's brutal. These are all the things that are in this game if you give it enough context. Just want to say that. I'm throwing this out there. This is one of the most goriest games out there, in all honesty. Like, for children's games. Alright, I've said enough. Back to the video. Yeah. Thanks for tuning into the video, guys. I hope you guys enjoying this format that we got going on. I want to let you know we also have another video series I'm trying to get into. I'm going to be calling it the Remember series. We already got one video up on this channel here, and it's called Remember Red Dead Redemption. It is a compilation videos, essentially, to put it at its basis, that I want to try doing with some old clips, put them together, see if I can make them a bit funnier than they already are, especially with Red Dead. So please tune that in. It's probably going to be somewhere maybe up here, right at the end here, but yeah. Thanks for tuning in, guys. I really do appreciate it. I try to do these videos whenever I complete a game. Our next one's probably going to be Ghost of Tsushima whenever I decide to finish that. Like I said, we got another series coming up. But if you want to catch me live, I stream on Twitch at twitch.tv/KlausMcHamster, not capitalized, all one word. You can definitely tune in there. There's probably links down below. I also have a Twitter. You can check me out there if you want to. I'll let you know on any updates on my Twitch or YouTube on that nature. Also have other places like an Instagram, TikTok, stuff like that if you want to click those. But yeah, thanks for tuning in the video, guys. I really do appreciate it. I'll see you on the next one. Have a lovely day.